How's it going, everyone? VenomousStare back with more StarCraft 2 action. This time, we have a bit of a unique game. We have a game that I saw in real life at Dreamhack Austin, and I liked the game so much that I was compelled to go find the replay and cast it for you guys, so I hope you enjoy it. It's between two Americans, Blast, who is the Zerg and Team LOF, and Foxer, who is an American Terran player playing under MarineKing Prime's original ID, Foxer. A lot of people don't know that. MarineKing Prime, whenever he was a rookie, GSL Season 2 2011, the second GSL, he played under the ID Foxer, basically cheesed 2 racks Marine bunker rushed every game, and he played an ST in the finals when the game was incredibly Terran favored, and people like MarineKing were winning. And Nesty put on a masterful performance and beat him in 7 games. The last game on Close Positions Metalopolis. One of the most famous GSL series there ever was. And speaking of cutesy micro, here's Foxer. Woo! That was slick. Using that halt command on that SCV while it was building the depot to basically squeeze through twice and run away from the speedlings. So beautiful micro there from Foxer. Blast takes his third base. Once the game speeds up, I'll slow it down to the regular speed. Foxer runs forward, tries to pick off a creep tumor with the grenade, which was a good attempt. Good idea. It's nice to see people who do the right thing, even if it doesn't work. Like, that's what he should have done. In the main, we see a lair about to complete for Blast, as well as a Roach Warren almost done. So Blast is going to take advantage of this map's very short ground rush distance. And Foxer, boom, picks off a creep tumor. I think he's going to do it again. Focus fire, boom. So Foxer runs forward with the tank evac, drops it, and snipes the 2 creep tumors. Excellent move. This means if you're new to the game, or a lot of people who play Terran and Protoss don't know like the inner workings of Zerg, so I'll explain for you rookies. Basically, Zerg has to make extra queens from the hatchery to run out and push these little creep tumors down. They cost energy, and once the tumors go down, they have color. That means they're active, and after that, you can, the cooldown goes, boom, you can spread it forward. This tumor then becomes permanent. This one starts, once it completes, that tumor becomes the new active one, and you spread it forward. So the idea is to lay multiple tumors with the queens, and then keep spreading the active ones. Obviously, almost everyone already knows that, but I'm sure some people don't. And basically, Foxer targeted the 2 creep tumors down. So for an entire 30 seconds, while the creep queens of Blast regenerated energy, Blast was unable to spread his creep. Not only that, the creep he did spread receded. So creep is very important on this map because of the short ground rush distance. It's also very important because of the build that he elected to do. So the fact that Foxer ran forward there and picked off those tumors is very, very important. I also think it's worth noting that Hellions are often the standard. Not necessarily right at this moment within the last few weeks, but for the past 6 years, the Terran player made Hellions to prevent the Zerg from spreading creep. Now that Roaches are a better opener because of Ravagers existing, Hellions are worse. So it's interesting to see Foxer's adaptation to open tank evac and do that much creep clearing with just one little tank drop, 2 shots. Because if he had Hellions, he probably wouldn't have been able to do anything at all because the Roaches already existed. Foxer clears out the Foxer clears out this Overlord, which was watching his third. Blast is now supply blocked, which is always annoying. Roaches are very supply intensive units, so it's easy to get supply blocked whenever you do roach based builds, especially if you're bad. Blast is not bad, he's high masters, but plenty of people are bad, believe me. We all get supply blocked. Pro gamers get supply blocked, guys. So Blast has the supply advantage, but the aforementioned Roach is very supply inefficient for Zerg, which basically means that's the downfall of making the Roach, is that it's supply inefficient as opposed to being squishy, which is the downfall of the Hydralisk. I mean, it does fine damage. So that's what you have to worry about when you make Roaches, is the supply. They're also a unit that falls off quite significantly. They just really can't handle the blast that Terran and Protoss have to offer as the game moves on. Splash damage like Templar, damage units like Immortals and tanks. That's the thing, is the Roaches can fight to an extent, but there's just so many more units that do more damage in the game. Foxer has 2-2 on the way. I really hope that he starts this armory upgrade, because this tank heavy style is very, very strong with the offensive upgrades. He also is starting double Liberators. So a lot of Terrans have had trouble adapting to this ground Zerg style of Roach Ravager, maybe some Hydralisk Lurker too. It's interesting to see players like Foxer who opt to use Liberators as the difference maker. Big drop coming from Foxer, although he's going to run right into everything. He almost loses his medevacs, very close there for our Terran player. Nice Overlord placement from Blast, he sees those rocks. Foxer losing quite a bit there. If we go to units lost, the Zerg has actually lost more. 2-2 on the way for Foxer, as Blast has 1-1 about to complete. That's very, very bad for Blast. He does snipe that medevac, which is nice. He's also going to kill these rocks, so Foxer is kind of in a bit of trouble. He lost a surprising amount of supply in the last few minutes, and if Blast just pushes him with the short rush distance, Foxer might get caught with his pants down. He might actually, hold on, he might be able to hit a timing before 2-2, but I doubt it. He has Infestation Pit on the way, does Blast. Blast is maxed. He has a 50 supply advantage over Foxer, who needs to drop those tanks, and he does, but Foxer, plain and simple, does not have the splash to deal with this. His Gem Rainers just don't cut it. Even though Foxer has the upgrade advantage, he's going to be overwhelmed by the Zerg. Foxer has 3 Liberators on the way, so I think he will be able to hold this. It's not as bad as it looks. More units streaming across the map for our Zerg player, though. Foxer left these Liberators here very intelligent in this Venn diagram pattern. This prevents any units from moving past there, although he unsieges them right at the wrong moment. He might lose one here. It's 4 or 5 corrosive vials to kill them. I believe 4. It is 4. Yeah, 60. But Blast has done a good job of picking these off. He also has a 4th base, and he started Hive, which, as all Terran players know, is scary because that means Ultras could be coming your way very soon. He also has 7 drones on the way, does our Zerg player Blast. Foxer has a little defensive perimeter set up. He loses 1 Liberator, but he's continuing to make more. I think he's going to be able to hold with this Venn diagram defense, especially if he focus fires these Ravagers, because Blast is having gas issues. Because he wants to be saving gas right now and teching to Ultras. He should have taken these geysers a long time ago and potentially a 5th. But he's been busy attacking and taking out these shots. Blast has been taking out Liberators and pressuring Foxer, but I think Foxer has kind of stabilized, stopped the bleeding, 3-3's on the way. That upgrades advantage is a big deal. Blast is going to be in a world of hurt when he doesn't have any melee upgrades and he tries to switch into Ultras, excuse me. 2 low medevacs on the way for Foxer, but Blast is playing this Roach heavy style. If Foxer is on top of his medevacs and he is a good multitasker, then he should never lose those despite them being low. Foxer is trying to clear out this Overlord. Good move by him to try to clear vision. It's very important to clear Zerg's vision whenever you play because you want to be able to drop them like this. Foxer, he's targeting the Roaches. He actually trades well there and picks up, so Foxer flexing his muscles, so to speak, with his upgrade advantage. Spire on the way for Blast. It's just about to complete. he knows that he needs Mutalisk to deal with Foxer, because like MarineKing, he likes to drop. Oh no, the Spire is spotted. I think he's going to be able to defend it, but I would not want Foxer to know where my Spire is when I haven't made enough mutas. Okay, he's going Corruptor actually, so interesting adaptation to this Roach style. The Corruptors are better for straight up fights and better in Deliberators, I would say, but not as good against drops. So maybe Foxer can out multitask his opponent here as he starts to build a sensor tower, which is very smart. This is an underrated unit for Terran that lets you see where your opponent is. In my opinion, Terran should build these, I think 2 of them in every game, 1 in their main, 1 in the natural. They're not that expensive. Once you get 4 bases, it's not really an investment. Underutilized. And keeping within the theme of Venn diagrams, Foxer has done exactly what I said you should do, although his are more central than I imagined. I imagine one being in your main so you can see Overlords, but that's more so for TVT maybe. Oh, I want to have that so I don't get Doom dropped. Who knows? Blast has quite the army now. He has an Ultra Cavern on the way, but I hate to harp on one thing, but it's very important. This is a huge upgrade disparity. 2-2, and as we look at production, Blast seemingly does not have any on the way, does not have any intention of getting them. And even though Foxer is down by about 20 supply, he's going to be able to trade relatively effectively. He has a good army full of not just bio, he's not just slamming his head against the wall with bio, he's made lots of Liberators and tanks. This enables him to kind of set up zones and just prevent the Zerg from attacking as he amasses a force. Foxer is also taking another base up here, so good multitasking by him. He hasn't really been able to drop very much because of this ring of Overlords around Blast's base. Another sensor tower. Oh wait, no, 2 missile turrets. But Foxer has prevented the Zerg from attacking because he's made Liberators and Siege Tanks. That's a ton of zone control. And Blast has the upgrade disadvantage, so he can't really force the issue. So Foxer has had a lot of control of this game, as Blast does something which is interesting. He starts 2 different kinds of defense upgrades. This is a great way for him to circumvent his disadvantage. But it looks like there's going to be a fast, so I'm going to have to Marco Rubio go for the water. Oh wait, no I'm not. Foxer's going to stem, split his Marines, but his Liberators are not being microed properly. There they go, finally. But it's a bit late, I dare say, as he lost almost his entire bio for us. But here come the Venn diagrams, boys, as you can't sit into that. That's an absurd amount of damage. It's Rubio! Foxer's... I can't come up with an analogy ridiculous enough for this, but he's basically trying to choke Blast out with Venn diagrams here. He's just continuously leapfrogging his Liberators here, and Blast is just running away. I would try to snipe these sensor towers. I sure do love my sensor towers. 4 Corruptors on the way for Blast, and pure Jim Raynor on the way in pure and true Foxer style. And that's MarineKing, not the guy we're watching right now, just Marines. Blast has done a bit of damage here, but his corner bases are not really necessarily the most droned. He's been having to micro his main army a lot. And I don't want to speak for all Zerg players, but most Zerg players are used to macro management more than micro management. So oftentimes, especially, Blast, he's not a pro gamer per se, like full time. We've kind of seen his macro slip a bit, and he hasn't transferred drones or been upgrading as well as he needs to. And Foxer has made this interesting composition, lots of Liberators, despite the Zerg really delaying his heir. Foxer absolutely eviscerates drones as he kills the main army. Foxer has 10 more Marines on the way. And he scans forward and sees the Zerg army. And I'm not going to hype this for you guys. I mean, if you look at supplies, Foxer's just crushing him. This is a tournament game, so Blast is going to be more hesitant to leave. But Foxer showed an interesting response to this Roach heavy style. And he also showcased the importance of upgrades. Foxer's on Team Rival, which is a team full of North American players. Namely Rob, the famous two-gator. The Zerg is absurdly far behind. I'm just going to speed it up because stop, it's already dead. Foxer, see, he didn't drop the Manor Mule here. That's not very MKP-like. Sorry for the shitty games. They weren't that shitty. I think Blast did okay. If you enjoyed this, subscribe to my channel so you can see more StarCraft. It's completely free. Wow.